Hi there, it's Ann Dilker from Ann Dilker Creative, and today I'd like to show you the chain tassel project that is in the book that Gail DeLuca and I put together, which is called Czech Glass Inspirations. So this is a companion video to that book. So this tassel looks huge, but it's very lightweight because I'm using anodized aluminum. And you want to use anodized aluminum chain in this rather than one of the others because it's just too heavy. I've used 3 lengths of chain. This is what they call the small link, a medium link, and then the large link in the chain. And that gives it a lot of texture. What I've done is I think I've used a total of 7 or 8 different endings. So you can see that I've just made beaded elements that I've added on the end of the chains. And they're just, that one's the same. Let me put a different one up there so you can see. So I did like 7 or 8 different beaded elements. And what I've done is, with the exception of the large chain, I've cut double lengths of the medium and the long and put endings at each of them. So here's the materials that you're going to need for this. In the small link chain, I have cut 3 pieces at 7 3/4 inches, 3 pieces at 8 inches. In the medium chain, I have 3 pieces of 9 inches, and the larger chain, I cut 3 pieces of 3.5 inches. And the reason I did that, and the reason it's important to understand how much chain I'm using, is that it all has to fit inside this end cap. And this is one of those large 3-leaf end caps that are available at White Fox Bead Studio if you can't find them anywhere else. Gail always has those in stock. The only other piece of material that I need is a piece of 12 gauge wire, and on this I'm using brass wire because it's a little bit tough. Tool wise, it's always good to have your chain nose and your round nose pliers. You'll always need a flush cutter, and I'm just using these bail making pliers in order to get us started on this. You don't have to have this. Anything that makes a round something is good. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of brass wire. I'm going to use the large end of these bail pliers, and I just want to make a U-bend in this brass. And that's going to be where the tassel sits. So the first thing I've done is I made, using that bail plier again, I made a jump ring out of this wire and put the 3 pieces of large chain together, and they're longer than the other ones, so they will sit down in the center of the tassel. Now all I have to do is start loading these pieces. I'm going to start with the medium, and I don't necessarily want these to be right in the center. They can be, one end can be longer than the other. What will happen when I'm putting them together is, see how they come? Now I can adjust. All right. So I can adjust where these elements are falling out so that this element and its companion piece are not falling side by side. And I'm just going to continue that. I'm going to put some of the small link on this side and another piece of the small link on this side, and some small link on this side, and a small link on the other side. And the value of doing this with a single piece of wire instead of, or chain, I'm sorry, is that I can adjust the length of the chain without having to count the links that I put in it. Okay, so what I have here is a pretty nice distribution of where the beads are falling overall in the end, and I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing I have to do now is close this up and get the end cap put on it. And what I'll do is just bend this around. And the brass wire is a little bit heavy, but you can still manipulate it just with your hand. I'm going to turn that around, make sure that I've got all the chain in place. Just going to grab my flush cutters, and I may have to put my readers on for this. Flush cutters, just nip that right at the end. Bring this little finding over. And the thing that's nice about this finding is it's flexible. If I need it wider, I can bend these out. If I need it narrower, I can just squish it in. And that looks pretty good, so I'll take my chain nose, just give that a 90-degree bend, and I put the chain nose right down against that bead cap. So I have that much space to wrap this. I'm going to take my round nose, bend that, turn it over to the other jaw, bring that around, and then I'm just going to wrap that. And again, this brass is a little bit tough, so you've got to have, that end one is really hard. I'll just use my chain nose to finish bending that around. Take my flush cutters, get that up nice and close. Again, I'm using the flat side of the flush cutters to get in nice and close on that. And that really is all there is to putting that together. Now what I'll do is make a necklace piece, and the book will show you this, that's made from the large chain and the medium link chain to finish the necklace off. So the one thing that you want to remember on this is anodized aluminum chain, because if this were made out of copper or brass, it would weigh a ton. So I hope you'll have fun playing around with it, and thanks for watching.